Hello, and welcome again to my talk for today. And just a thank you to everyone who's been watching and commenting. It's good to hear that there are people who are watching, and so thank you very much. For many of us, it's weird being in the basement without any sport to watch. For me, it is the time of year when soccer would be reaching its climax. But obviously, this year, everything's on hold. Then, of course, there are the NHL and NBA playoffs, the Masters Golf, and the beginning of the baseball season. There are only reruns of old games, and personally, I don't like to watch things that I know the outcome of. Here we are in one of the most hectic times of the year for sports, and there's nothing. For someone like me, this change in routine has meant that I have been able to do some things that I might have put off. Little household chores that I knew needed doing have now been done. Calling and emailing people I might not have got around to in other circumstances has also happened. Getting to know new neighbours a little more, with the correct social distancing, of course. With our almost daily walks, we've been able to come to know the neighbourhood more quickly than might otherwise have been the case. Over the years, many of us who talk to people who are experiencing loss have learned that grieving applies to many more things than the death of someone we love. As a teenager, I played for the best 5 and 6-a-side soccer team in the region. We were mediocre at the 11-a-side game, but when the numbers were reduced, we were pretty much unbeatable. We'd reached the final of a major tournament, and it was played at Sankey's Stadium. It was not a great facility, but for us who were used to changing in the outdoors or arriving already dressed, to have a locker room and showers was a great luxury. We played our way through to the final, where we lost to a dubious refereeing decision. For days amongst us there was anger, tears, guilt, replaying the game in our head, all the classic signs of grief. It was the end of the season, so we couldn't immediately get back to playing competitive soccer. What we eventually did was to play cricket together. It was a new thing for us to do, and slowly it took the sting from our grief. We were fortunate enough to be able to win several soccer competitions the next year. During this time, some of us will be grieving things other than the loss of sports. One of the important things is to allow ourselves to do so. It's the way in which God has made us and is part of his healing ways. Even though he knew what he was going to do, Jesus showed grief for his friend Lazarus. One of the ways in which we know that we are beginning to see the grief wound heal is when we are open to new things. That doesn't mean that we are to force ourselves to do something different. Rather, it's to be willing to allow those new things in. In this Easter season, we are also reminded that the risen Christ walks with us by his Spirit. So once again, thank you for listening. Again, today there will be a litany at 6 p.m. Also, later in the evening, an opportunity to get together and talk with folks online. You can find the information about that on the Diosum website. And so, God bless and stay safe.